Welcome to Atlanta Tarot. This is the tarot forecast for Taurus for the month of May, including late April 2025. So happy birthday, Taurus. We are in your sign. So very grounded time, very much a time of getting things done. You are in your first house of the self and your self-image, so everything around those things you might find wanting to change it a little bit or cut your hair or do something about your image, just for yourself, because it is your birthday month. So this 4 weeks is all about you and yourself. Energy around is death, Scorpio, major card, transformation, in other words. So moving from one state, let's say winter, into spring. But having had worked on yourself, transformations require work, as we know, so a lot of work sometimes, it takes a while, quite a while for that wheel to turn. But that's what's going on for you. So all things Scorpio, and funnily enough, Scorpio is your polar opposite sign. You're 6 months apart, so very compatible actually, Scorpios and Taurus. They can both learn a lot from each other. Vastly different, but you know, sometimes those polar opposites, they just work so well. So we've got a major card, so major transformation is the energy around, and it's never too late to start. Let's see where you are now. 4 of Cups. Yeah, 4 of Cups is another transitory sort of minor card that comes through emotionally to sort of say, oh, well, phew, the honeymoon's over. You know, you've come down off a high and now you're thudded to the ground and you're like, oh, now what? Everything's back to the mundane again. Everything's back to just going to work, coming home, eating, sleeping, working. This is only temporary. But especially I'm believing, so if this is coming off the back of it, this transformation, I would say this 4 of Cups is perhaps relationship, obviously quite relationship related. Maybe you've met someone, it's all highs and been great for 6 weeks, which usually is that period of the, what do they call it, infatuation period, and then down to earth you come because you found something, or you're just like, oh, the shine's gone. It's that kind of energy, but don't give up. I mean, you've just got to keep moving forward. And as I said, it's transitory. But before we say anything else, let's have a look at the influencing card that's brought that on, and will influence the rest of the reading. By the Knight of Cups. So I'm saying for some of you, this is either an offer that's been offered to you, or it's a real life person that's come in with all the bells and whistles and the chocolates and the flowers and professed his undying love and all of that stuff. Or it could be some sort of project or some kind of offer that otherwise not related to relationships that could look really good, but you just sort of think, I'm not 100% sure. So the story of the Knight of Cups is that he is immature, so he's yet to mature in sense. Now that can be an older guy or a younger guy, either. It doesn't, you know, sort of, as we know, you can be a 60-year-old Knight of Cups. You can be a 20-year-old Knight of Cups. But it's almost like the idealistic situation of, oh, you know, he did this and he did that. But yeah, and then later the bottom falls out and then you go, oh God, so was that all just rubbish or what? So that's the energy of the Knight of Cups, just to give you a bit of an insight into him. And it's immature, so, you know, we have to take our responsibility in it as well. Let's see what was going on in March, April. We had the King of Wands, so travelling, moving, travelling, King of Wands, all sort of doing really well, leadership qualities, male energy once again coming through, can be very strong female as well. But there we have but it's more of a movement card to me, or a man that you meet that's travelling or moving. Could well be him coming and going, so you only get brief glimpses of this person, but the overall energy is one of, just, it's quite dynamic. It's very much leadership energy, but that's on the sort of action side of things, whereas we've got the Knight of Cups, and that's emotional, so it's a different, could be the same person, but just different manifestations of that person coming through. But there it was, and that was in the time of Aries, so very adept, that should come through here with him, but very much a movement card and a male energy card. So there you go. Recent influences, 7 of Pentacles. So looking back on your last 4 or 5 months of this year, or even further afield than that, 6 months maybe, how much you have done, how much you have progressed. And this Pentacles usually belongs to you guys. It's an earth sign card, but it's about sort of the day-to-day life, work, all that kind of business, how we sort of run our lives, routines, housekeeping, all that kind of thing, job. So this kind of energy is positive. 7s in numerology talk about, don't give up, just keep on keeping on, but also remembering to look back from where you've come and see how much you have achieved, rather than just saying, oh, this isn't right, that isn't right. But obviously with this transformation too, I am getting this feeling it may be some kind of relationship. And as true and tried Tauruses, they normally do keep their head down, and that doesn't sort of distract them from any relationship type things as much as it would other signs. Let's see the lesson. 3 of Pentacles, so spiritual learning. Very spiritual card. We'll deal with that first. So situation of, you teaching someone a lesson, or someone teaching you a lesson in terms of relationship. It may be a work relationship as well, but it may be work and relationship all twined up together. This also talks about working well with other people. 3s are always sort of platforms or foundation card, and learning and communication, that kind of energy. And especially with its Pentacles as well, so it could well be tied in with your work environment, but also being a Taurus, it could be tied in with the way you do things in relationships as well. So, but overall, the spiritual learning lesson is that you can look at that and see how that dynamic works for you in the emotional sort of sector of your life. Who are you learning from? Are you teaching someone, or are they teaching you? It's that kind of a transactional, in a way. It sounds weird to say transactional, but sometimes they are transactions in terms of universal law. We meet people for a reason, to learn. Okay. Near future. Ace of Swords, breakthrough. Aces are always sort of new beginnings coming through. Ace of Swords is very much a breakthrough after a really dreadful time, actually, quite a mind-occupying space, really, with the Swords cards. We can tend to live too much in our mind, which creates other problems, or too many problems, more than it should. But when we get the Ace of Swords, it talks about that sort of breakthrough has occurred, and now you have a lot of clarity about what's going on, and that would sit well with that transformational card. You've gone, oh, okay, now I understand what it's all for. This is why this happened. This is what's been going on for me, in whichever aspect that suits your personal life at the moment, I must reiterate. So, wonderful card here. Excellent. And let's have a look at what's going on that you're not realising. Karma is at work. Justice. It's a very much a karmic situation. So as we do have these 2 characters here, I would say it's something to do with the relationship. They're either separate entities or they're one and the same person that's entered your life. And this Justice card just sort of says, well, the seeds that we sow are the seeds that we reap. So whatever went on there, you know, it's almost like another transactional, sort of universal transactional story where you've got to take your part in the responsibility of how it happened, why it happened. But basically we know with the lesson that it's spiritual learning, but if that's the road you're going down. Very karmic. How others see you. Knight of Swords. Very quick change of direction here. So maybe it's you. Once again, maybe it's you that has sort of taken off, really, because the Knight of Swords is a Gemini card and it's all about sort of expect the unexpected. So something comes in really suddenly. Once again, it is a knight, so it could be a real person and this is how people are seeing you, or maybe it's this particular person that's seeing you as this, because often it is a projection, as you would know. So yeah, very big change of heart, going in one direction and then suddenly, you know, throwing chaos into the mix and going in the other direction, or conversely just disappearing altogether. So that's what's going on there. Very Gemini sort of energy, very air energy type. Yeah, and expecting the unexpected, but disruption has been part of this story here with this Knight of Swords. So make that of it what you will, Taurus. It's sort of an energy that you kind of are a bit like, what? But there it is. Positive feelings. You're feeling positive about the Three of Wands. So once again, another 3 card. Good foundations, growth, expansion coming in here. Also travel as well on the radar there. Maybe looking at that later on, but yeah, definitely but it's a very solid card. It's a Wands card, so it's an action card, a fire card, so really nice card to get, especially with this one underneath it. So it shows you that you are still on that solid foundation, but yeah, there's been a few lessons to be learnt somehow, especially when we've got transformation as the energy that is running this reading. The outcome. 10 of Wands, and then you collapse in a heap because you've taken too much on, Taurus, and that's just exhaustion, really. Another Wands card. So yeah, a lot going on here. As you've got air, water and water, fire. You've got literally all the elements here. 2 major cards. The transformation card and the Justice card. So it would make sense that you're a bit exhausted. Just energetically though, Taurus, I don't think Wands is more the energy vibration that you have when you get the 10 of Swords that's exhausted. Let's just have a look at what is that exhaustion, that 10 of Wands, what's lying underneath for clarification. The King. Oh, very male energy. A lot of male energy here, Taurus. Man, authority, male sexual energy, things pertaining to the law and justice, which is also the Justice card or the karmic card. And it's a number 3. The King appears to represent the powers of justice, authority, the law, and male sexual energy. When the King appears on your path, it's time to get your house put in order. Complete any unresolved legal issues and deal with issues related to fairness. The King always lets you know when something significant is yours to experience and learn from. There is another meaning when the King appears on your path. If you're inquiring about a man or your relationship to him, the King stands to represent him, which will bode well or not so well, depending on which other cards flank him. Pay attention, for this King reminds you to take affirmative action in your life. Happy birthday, and thank you so much for listening, Taurus.